Welcome to Impact Talks by CSR Box, the program where we talk to leaders and experts in the field of corporate social responsibility and beyond. I'm your host Adarsh, and today I have with me Mr. Praveen Kumar Karn, Head CSR, Spark Minda Group. Mr. Karn, a rural development alumnus of XISS, holds an extensive experience of 1.5 decades in the field. Mr. Karn is a member of expert panel in the Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, CSR Committee of Assocham, and Northern Regional CSR Committee of Confederation of Indian Industry. He has also served as a jury member of Institute of Company Secretaries of India, CSR Award, and National Award on Disabilities, Government of India. He has participated in more than 50 national and international forums in the capacity of speaker. To his accolades, Mr. Karn is a recipient of the prestigious Mahatma Award 2022. He was featured among 25 CSR professionals in India by CSR Times and India CSR, and was declared among 50 most influential CSR leaders by World CSR Congress. Additionally, he holds distinguished honor of being awarded ICSI Award 2021 by respected Home Minister of India. Finally, it is to be noted that his CSR programs at Minda Corporation has been awarded National CSR Award 2019, conferred by Hon'ble President of India. Mr. Karn, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you for the detailed introduction too. Thank you.
So I would like to start this conversation from the side of theory rather than driving from the practice of CSR where you excel. Being one of the thought leaders in the space of CSR, you have often expressed your preference to speak in your mother tongue in Hindi, that is Hindi, at various forums and platforms where you have represented your organization, and very rightly so. So in that context, I would like to ask you that do you believe that language plays role in driving the development discourse forward, especially in the diverse country like India?
Thank you for this beautiful question. Hindi se ek khasa lagav hai. I would say that for development sector, language doesn't play any hindrance. Whatever language you know, there's a language of development itself. You speak in Hindi, you speak in any other regional language, you go to any of the part of the country. I would not comment globally, but at least as far as I know my country, India, in India, it's never a barrier. I have seen my friends from the sector working from northern India, they belong to, and they've been working in southern part of the country. And they are quite comfortable. They have been doing excellent jobs. मिट्टी वही है, पानी वही है, किसान वही, बीज वही, हाँ बस थोड़ा परिवेश, पहनावा, बातचीत में बदलाव होता है, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
Amazing, sir. That's amazing. So, moving on to my next question, if you're given the power to change one thing about present CSR rules, what would be it and why?
That's a difficult one to answer and straightforward. Probably a comment on the laws that the government has formed. But yes, I would definitely like to change the NGOs who are not allowed to be an implementation agency till they have completed 3 years. This clause should be changed because there are quite a few good organizations. They've been doing excellent jobs, but they are in their initial years. I would like to bring this change by adding certain credentials and the checkpoints for them. Point number 2, the local area preference. This clause has been restricting organization, I would not say restricting, but has been giving preferential treatment to the states like Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Gujarat majorly. However, there are some of the states like northeastern states where organizations are lesser, industries are lesser. In that way, they remain deprived of CSR benefits. So I would like to bring in this clause change too. And finally, organizations, industries spanning more than 2%, they should be incentivized maybe in the form of taxes if they are overspending their budget. These are the 3 things that I'd like to change, just not one.
Well, I would like to note that you stick to your points that you said in India CSR Summit, so which is a welcome step. But going forward, let's shift gears a little bit about the organization that you represent and the work that you do. Spark Minda Foundation is a national CSR award-winning organization. It's the social impact arm of this Spark Minda Group, which is one of the leading manufacturers of automotive components of the OEMs. For the benefit of our audience, I'll request you to explain Spark Minda's work verticals and the associated philosophy with the program that you run.
So straight away, if I talk about the verticals, that would not be justified. But how did we identify our vertical? That is important to know. The area where we operate in, we looked at the people, we looked at the society, we looked at the economy, and then therefore we identified the set of problems, narrowed down those set of social and economic problems, and then we identified the need and finalized our verticals. And therefore, we narrowed down skilling and education as one of the verticals. There were people with disabilities around us, and therefore we finalized working for and empowering people with disability. We also found that there are a lot of issues related to healthcare. This needs to be supplied. There's a demand and a supply gap in that. We started working on that. And there's one more very special project, which is about the prison project, where we find that very less number of organizations have been intervening for the inmates inside the prison. And this is something where we also need to look at in terms of their human rights. There are many other accessibilities, and we also have adopted working for betterment of prisons in India as one of our vertical of intervention.
Great, sir. So just following up on the same, that you rightly said that you are one of the very few organizations which have programs and which have extensive programs involving prison and prison inmates. So tell us more about your business integrated prison project and the recent project Shakti, which involves working with prison inmates. And I would also like to ask you, just for the benefit of our audience, that what was the thought behind, having the program involving prison inmates?
Right. So I would say the beginning of this program as a coincidence when we were visiting Tihar prison and we looked at some of the interventions there. We did not find any automotive company working inside the prisons. And somehow it came to our mind that can we do a manufacturing setup inside the prison, and can we make these inmates productive, economically productive? With this narrative, we started meeting the prison authorities. We checked with them, can we do a manufacturing facility inside? Trust me, it was very, very difficult initially. You know the protocols of the prison, and they are absolutely right about that. But we could somehow convince the prison authorities of Tihar in the year 2014 with the concept, of course, that they are talking about Saja Nahi Sudhar. So we also followed that, tried convincing them, and we could set up one of the manufacturing facility inside Tihar prison in 2014. Well, there were three parties. One, of course, the prison authority. Second, Spark Minda. Third, our customers, to whom we have to supply these finished products. These are the same product that we are manufacturing in our business. And we took approvals from our business partner, from our customer. We asked them that we're going to get this production done inside the prison. And they asked, would you be able to do so? We said, yes, we are giving it a try and we can do that. We started that. The benefits of this program. An inmate inside the prison is able to earn an income by being inside the prison itself. Number two, the money which we are paying to these inmates is actually going to their families. So by being inside the prison, they are able to sustain their families, they are able to support their families, which is a big benefit for them. Point number three, the prison wages are lesser than the minimum wages. It's a win-win model. So I can convince my business also that we are going to save on some money if we do this intervention inside the prison. So let's do it. This is how I could convince my manufacturing heads. And they were quite interested doing this facility. Number 4, a skill which has been developed for the inmates. Once they are out of the prison, they have a plan B for their life. They can get a job in the market. So this is how this becomes a win-win kind of a model. We kept doing it. We went to Yerwada female, we did it in Yerwada male, then Aurangabad, then Nagpur, and we have plans to go to many other prisons too. This I can tell you that this is that one project which is benefiting business too. You look at this setup, we don't have any IR issues, we don't have any interruption in the business. At the same time, they are manufacturing the best of the products, 0 defect products they are making. And a crimeless society is created because they are engaged in an economically productive activity. They are able to support their families, as I already mentioned. This is how this becomes a win-win model. This is one of the most innovative model, I would say, and in fact, Spark Minda Group was the first organization in 2014 as an automotive company to set up a manufacturing inside the prison. During the course of our work, we understood that there are women inmates who require accessibility towards menstrual hygiene management, and we added this component also as our intervention. We have completed our awareness program on menstrual hygiene management in all the prisons of Haryana in the previous financial year, and this year we are doing it in all the prisons of Uttarakhand. We have plans ahead. We'll be going forward too.
Great. I mean, that's a very inspiring to know that how even those who are overlooked rather, or who are not looked, means Spark Minda Foundation is doing something for prison inmates as well, because they do not fall into a very mainstream discourse. They are very marginalized in that sense of the term. So that's a very nice thing to hear. But like you said, that your work is both good for the business and good for the people as well. So, and you long have been the proponent of aligning CSR values with organizational goals for ensuring sustainability of CSR initiative, of course. So, why do you think that this should be the approach forward? And what would be, how would you ensure that the process that we are taking, where we do align our organizational goals with our CSR objectives, would not trump, process, and would not become profit oriented in the longer run?
See, when you talk about CSR, we quite often restrict to talk about that 2% thing. But actually, once you think critically about it, it's just not about that 2% spending. It's about the rest 98%, that how do you spend that money? How do you create that circular economy? How do you look at the need of the area around you? How does your business strategize to bring in the right impact? Just not the economical, just not the profit maximization related impact internally, but externally, how are you conserving things? How are you sustaining things? It talks about all that. And therefore, I strongly believe, see, profit maximization is not bad, but at the same time, how do you spend this profit? How do you look at the ecosystem around you, the people and the planet around you? That's also critical. How do you create that circular economy and the sustainability economy? That's also critical. This is how they should be taught.
So, I mean, so you mean to say that sustainability is a core that we need to take forward with CSR?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. That's the key. That's the bigger umbrella. So CSR is one of the drivers of sustainability.
Right. So, going forward, and you are in Delhi, I believe, although Spark Minda headquarters is based around Delhi, and we know how Yamuna is rising there, which is one of the climatic problems, and so shifting our focus towards environment, which brings in the sustainable development goals. which have which the situations like Delhi, what is happening in Delhi, what happened in Bangalore last year, necessitates it as a choice, the only choice for going forward. It is not any more an option for us as humans not to prioritize sustainable development goals. And it wouldn't be wrong to say that if we really want to save our planet and to maintain it as a prosperous and habitable habitat for all of us, it is important and it is pertinent to give it priority. So, what as an organization, what I would like to ask, what Spark Minda Foundation is doing to align its business values with the environmental conservation and SDGs, and also as a seasoned practitioner, CSR practitioner, you yourself representing a prominent CSR. What would be your message to your contemporary organizations with regards to the use of same and environment at large?
Sure. I think that's one of the most important questions that you have placed to me. As a representative to my organization, I have a huge onus to respond to this question in a way that if somebody is hearing me and would like to get things replicated, must understand that how does things work. It's not so easy, honestly speaking. Environment has to be the topmost concern. But is it actually a concern for the industry today? Are all the industries compliant to the requirements of the industry? Or is it just a matter of compliance? No, I believe it's beyond that. It's a matter of a responsibility, something which is beyond compliances. SDG 13, the climate action, talks about a lot. When you are talking about environment as an industry, you have to look at your GHG inventarization. How much emissions you have? How much water have you been consuming? And what is your plan to bring it back? The consumed water that you have already used for your industrial purposes. How do you regenerate that? Can your business sustain without water? Can you do it without electricity? If you are not disposing of your waste appropriately, what is the impact that would be created in the environment in the longer run? Can you sustain with this? And therefore, the ecosystem is evolving in a very, very nice manner today. The SEBI has mandated certain reportings like BRSR reporting is mandated from this year onwards, where you have to disclose a lot of things, where the transparency is there towards GHG, towards governance, towards social component of ESG. It's there. So as an organization, we have to look at all such critical issues. We all have seen what has happened in Delhi. We know what is happening in South Africa. The many other countries who are not having water today. We all know that the water crisis is going to be the topmost crisis in the year to come. The emissions, the carbon emissions, which is impacting today, the dearth of the electricity that we have in totality, the pollution element. So for all such actions which are damaging the environment, you have to have a counter plan. And this should be done in a very organized manner. So the kind of impact, negative impact that you have created because of your business, you have to strategize the counter actions for it. At Spark Minda, we understand the GHG, the greenhouse gas emissions that we created. But to counter to that, we have done 30,000 plantations. We have many other actions also to reduce the carbon emissions, but at the same time, 30,000 plantations with 90% survival. 1,000 metric ton of waste disposal, appropriate disposal, reduce, recycle, and reuse practices. We have done 30 lakh kg of carbon offsetting till date with our various practices. 262 lakh kilowatt hour of renewable energy production. These are all few efforts are going to supplement towards environment conservation. Quite significant. Your investors are asking today, your shareholders are asking today. And if we have to sustain in this race today, the top most strategy plan is to sustain this planet. And if we don't do it, the United Nations is also asking with SDG 13 that come out for the climate actions. And if you're not going to do it, you cannot survive as an industry and business. And therefore, we are also quite affirmative, quite responsible, accountable for all such actions. We are determined. We have to do it. We have certain efforts that we started in last 10 years. We have a way to go. We will be shortly coming out with our crisp plan towards GHG inventarizations, towards our emission, electricity saving, plantation, water consumption reductions, and all that. But these efforts are going on for close to a decade with our growth.
That's great to hear that. And I think others organization will also take such actions towards environmental conservation. So, sir, my last question to you would be that CSR Box is preparing a compendium of aspirations, envisioning India and its social development sector at 100 years of independence. That is India at 100. So, my final question to you is that pertaining to social development sector, what would India of 2047 look like according to your vision and your aspirations?
In terms of corporate social responsibility, Radar?
Absolutely, absolutely. In terms of social development, in terms of corporate social responsibilities, in terms of social problems that we have today, what would you not like to see at India at 100?
Well, 2047 probably way long to go, but yes, a few things definitely I can talk about. I believe that the social development should be innovation based, and this all innovation should be well mapped with certain impact. These all have a cycle. The need has to be addressed through certain activities which will have output, then outcome, and finally the impact. I would like to see 2047 in the form of larger impact. I could also see by 2047 hundreds of models evolving. Models for healthcare, models for employment generation, entrepreneurship, healthcare, education, effective model which brings those impacts. I foresee all that happening by 2047. Well, today, if you look at our programs under social sector, they are time bound. But again, what exactly I would like to look is the long-term sustainable projects, which are scalable, which are replicable, and these all replications are happening around with all such models that we talked about. I could see a lot of community participation happening. We today talk about public-private partnership. I also like to see the panchayat-private partnership, the people-private partnership. I have talked about this triple P many times in many forums. I foresee all this EPP has bigger expansions. Well, CSR should not be operating standalone. Social sector in totality has to work together. The NGOs, the CVOs, the corporate foundations, industries, they all join hands to work together for the larger impact. I foresee that happening in 2047. If this happens, programs will be more sustainable in nature. Strategic awareness, transparency, this all. And finally, I would like to advocate about partnerships and collaboration, which also talks about SDG 17, Partnership for Goal. Can we all do it? It's just not the corporations, it's just not the industry. the government program supplementation for that reason, along with the people, along with the panchayat. Can we all do it? Yes, together we can. I would like to stop here with this message that if we all join hands, if we all partner, if we pool in our ideas, efforts, we can see a beautiful India in 2047. I must compliment CSR Box also for preparing a symposium, which would be kind of a guiding document for all of us from the social development sector to refer and to act. Thank you very much.
Well, with those words of Mr. Praveen Kumar Karn, Group Head CSR, Spark Minda Group, we come to a close of this episode of Impact Talks. And thank you, your audience, for joining us today for this episode. And you know that this is the episode where we explore the stories and insights of inspiring leaders who are making difference in the world. Today, our guest was Mr. Praveen Kumar Karn. He shared his vision and aspirations of the future of CSR in India and the truly remarkable work done by Spark Minda Foundation in the sector. We hope that you would be benefited from his inspiring words and energetic actions. And don't forget to join us for another exciting episode next week. Until then, take care and use less plastic. Thank you.